And that will take us all the way to 2021, where they released their second studio album, third project, The Battle at Garden's Gate.
Yeah, and I think this is it's a bit more of the prog rock than it is the Zeppelin rock. You'll still get that bluesy stuff in here, but it's definitely more hippy-dippy kind of shit on this album, and I love it still. I love this album too. It kicks off with a kind of hippie progressive song. Like, so Heat Above, we'll talk about it in a minute, but like violin is one of the prominent sections of Heat Above.
Yeah.
Wild for a rock track. But this album is just, this is the one I really want to sit down and get really, really baked and really just feel everything.
Yeah. No, I think certainly if you're going to do that, any of these albums or projects would work.
This is the one, though. For me.
For sure. Yeah.
100%.
I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer for this, for Greta Van Fleet.
Even the song titles are trippy, right? Broken Bells, Stardust Chords, Caravel, Trip the Light Fantastic, The Weight of Dreams.
Dude. Oh, yeah. I'll save it for when we get to that song. Yeah, yeah.
Hallucinogenic as fuck.
100%.
2021, The Battle at Garden's Gate. So we kick off with Heat Above. As I already mentioned, it's got these transcendental vibes to it. Violining instead of guitar for most of the song. There's a little bit of guitar kind of towards the middle end, but violin and keyboard are prominent here. Mid-tempo, high energy, Josh killing it again on the mic with the yells and everything, really. This is a great tone setter for the album and one of their best tracks.
Agreed. And some of the lyrics, he goes, "Can you feel my love? Rising with the heat above. Life's the story of ascending to the stars as one." And when asked on how this track specifically fits into the album, Josh said, "Each track has a theme of different cultures and civilizations inside of this world searching for some kind of salvation or enlightenment. And though the record starts with this song, its narrative concludes with its story of humans finding paradise."
Yeah, and this album feels like it really leans on like fantasy elements and like a kind of generic religious aspect to it.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know,
Definitely.
some reference to a higher power, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, some of their songs, like, they don't outright come and say that, but you kind of get that vibe.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple others that are a little bit more deliberate with it. There's one on the next album that I'm thinking of in particular.
Okay.
But yeah, this is more of that generic,
Oh,
just kind of
just hit me. Yeah.
But anyways, it's a really cool vibe for this album.
Oh, also, too, so these guys are... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, they grew up Christian, right?
Yeah, these guys are Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was confusing. I'm sorry. We're doing the Fray next week, and all four of those guys are Christian, too. So I was like, wait a minute. Is it all four of these guys or all four of those guys?
Well, crossover.
Yeah. So, yeah, the second track on the album is My Way, Soon. Which is a good, solid track on finding your path in life.
Yeah, and so this is a departure from the first song, and really kind of a standout to me on this album, just as bluesy as it is. Loud and brash, kind of up-tempo blues track, mid-tuned. This is the one song that I feel like Josh gets a little drowned out by the music.
Okay.
It just sounds like his mic wasn't loud enough or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I can see that. I didn't, it's funny, I didn't save any of the lyrics for this song, so that could be part of the reason.
Yeah, it's just, he just sounds a little bit, like, drowned out. But the riff on this track is fucking awesome. There's, like, this weird, screechy, kind of echoey guitar at the very beginning, and then you'll hear it popped in a couple spots along the track, which is kind of cool, because they do it at the top of the track. It opens with a guitar just, like, screeching, like it's, I don't know. And then you'll hear it between verses or at the end of choruses. It's a cool little add-on. The drumming here is complicated, really interesting, really well matched. Mm-hmm. Really, really cool track for me.
Yeah, definitely musically really, really cool. The next track is Broken Bells, which is different but good.
Yeah, this is slower prog rock track. Kind of Clapton-y to me a little bit. Lower tuned, softer instrument, but Josh, like, this is the opposite of what I mentioned earlier where he matched up well. The instruments are very low, and Josh is very high on this track.
Right.
Screaming his brains out. Not screaming, yelling. doing it like he's just killing it here. There's a cool like kind of muffled guitar or obfuscated guitar solo at the end, in that bluesy vibe to it. This is a really nice track too.
Yeah, so this is a song about perseverance and hope in the face of struggle. The chorus speaks to a sense of resiliency, implying that even the broken bells of life will not still ring true. And the chorus is, when out of silence we will sing, and even broken bells will ring. Not all the answers are the same, but yet we still play the game.
Yeah, really.
Which is a
song.
cool little line there.
Just keep going.
Especially, we don't have to get sidetracked in this, but we just finished watching The Wire. Have you?
I've heard it's great. Don't know anything about it.
Anyway, throughout The Wire, they always talk about playing the game, and yeah, so it's just funny.
Gotcha.
All-time show.
So I've heard.
Next track is Built by Nations.
Zeppelin 2? Question mark.
I didn't have that noted, but yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It's kind of this like mid-high tempo or mid-tempo high energy track. Josh killing it in the chorus here. His chorus is phenomenal on this track. The guitar is very much just like generic 70s hard rock. Little like he does this like good thing with the chords that are just like I mentioned, the 70s hard rock. And then at the end of these sections, he'll kick in little licks that just give you like these thought-provoking vibes. Little bits here and there. Again, the drums are killing it. He has drums and chimes on this track. The chimes help too. The chimes really do a good job of setting a tone for this track when they do head into those a little bit softer sections of the song. Again, really nice solo at the end of this track. Really like this song.
Yeah, so the main guitar riff for this song came out of a jam session they had in a live performance of Lover, Leaver, Taker, Believer, which is pretty cool.
Damn, that's crazy.
So you're just playing one song and kind of like going, jamming together, and then like come up,
sick. Yeah,
come up with a killer riff.
That's wild.
And my only other note, which is in a track-by-track interview, the band said this song is about when boys go to war. And it is kind of evident in some of the lyrics as well, where it's, they reference battlegrounds, warriors,
right,
et cetera,
right.
et cetera. Good track.
For sure. Follows that up with Age of Machine. So on the last album, we had Age of Man. Now we have Age of Machine. Age of Man was an up-tempo, or not up-tempo, but like upbeat kind of track. Good feels. This is not at all. Just another prog rock track. Simple, kind of slow guitar, and Josh just kind of wailing in the background. Gives you this like doomy, gloomy vibe right off the bat.
Yeah.
Eventually, it breaks into these like power chords with Josh kind of being echoed in the back, like the band is singing behind him, which creates this like real powerful effect to it. Mid slow tempo though, and like I said, this whole song is just kind of. It's intended to make you feel like something's wrong.
Yeah, so it's a 7-minute song. There is really cool guitar solo, but yeah,
Yep.
some of the lyrics: perfect child, plugged in since the womb, prophet of the dune. In this electric tomb, man is made an omnipresent force, heading on a course for interstellar shores. Definitely meant to make you think.
Yeah, it's a commentary on the way the world is and how it's affecting the children of today and tomorrow. That's a bit of an old head take, but it is what it is. It's just how they are. Unless you got anything else, I do like that song though. It's a good track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
Tears of Rain after that, another trippy. I didn't mention this earlier, but another trippy title.
Yeah.
Slow acoustic track. The music's pretty simple, but Josh is in this like high level again, screaming, yelling. He kills this song, but the keyboard. This is the masterpiece of keyboard supporting Josh. It's fantastic. Cool, high energy finish to this track after like being so soft and like simple throughout. This is a really, really good track.
Yeah, some of the lyrics: drifting through the plains before us as it turns to dust before our eyes, pleading for a god to pour us just a little bit of rain from an empty sky. So I don't know if perhaps that's another global warming reference, but
Yeah, it could be for sure.
cool track nonetheless. The next song is Stardust Chords, which, like you mentioned earlier, it's another like trippy song title.
Yeah, it's a really cool like. I don't know what it is. It sounds fun. Um, that being said, I don't think this song's awesome. It's good, not awesome. Kind of chunky mid tempo chords. Josh is like mid high level on the verses, and then full upper range on the chorus. Transcendental. Well, like I didn't have a ton of notes on the song. It just didn't like super stand out.
No, I didn't have a ton of notes either. Musically, I really enjoyed it. I grabbed one line of lyrics, but even that is just all right.
I don't know. It just kind of like there's 14 tracks on this album. It just kind of fell in the middle somewhere, you know.
Right. The next song is "Light My Love."
And this is one of the hits off this album. This song fucking rocks. It's this like cool mid tempo, like sweet ballad again. Piano takes center stage here. Soft, sweet verses, and then he rips into this like high energy yodeling, yelling on the chorus here. Strings, there's like violin mixed in with bits of guitar. He does like again, we mentioned it earlier, but there's another one where everything stops towards the end of the track right before he hits a chorus, and then he like yells with nothing behind him. He just starts yelling and the chorus hits, and it's a fantastic energy bump. Fantastic energy bump. I love this. Is my favorite ballad by them.
Yeah, this is a good one, and yeah, the phrase "Light My Love" is obviously if you're going through some dark times and you're just asking someone else to kind of help pick you up and bring that light into your life. Standout track for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
The next track is Caravel, which has a fire guitar riff on here.
Yeah, super catchy. Fire on this track.
Yeah, I did note historically, because I wasn't sure what a caravel was, but I guess it's a ship that allowed Europeans to, travel back and forth to Africa.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Bluesy song, piercing guitar, which what I mean by that is like clear and loud. Mid-high tempo, mid-high level on the vocals. The guitar work goes crazy on this song, as we mentioned. Hard licks into this like soft, kind of poppy, inviting sound on the guitar, and then back and forth between those two. Drums are powerful again here. Really, really good track.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, I liked the guitar a lot. Lyrically, it was just all right for me. I didn't really have anything to note on that.
Yeah, I feel that.
The next track, The Barbarians, has another fire riff on here.
Yeah, another. I mean, dude, they just kill it here. Powerful, mid-high tempo, high energy, prominent keyboard, but like tuned like an organ here. Which is a really cool effect they do on this song. Transcendental feel to it. Guitar rips on this song. Josh killing it on the mic again. Really good track.
Yeah, another song about how war, essentially how war is bad, especially for the youths.
Yeah.
Are we prisoners or renegades? Well, I've done my time.
That line right there, he kills it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he rips on that lyric.
Behold visions of burning skies, alas, Babylon.
Yeah, another kind of reference to, not even Babylon's not fantastical, but it's a fantasy feel to it.
Right.
Yeah. Cool track follows that up with Trip the Light Fantastic. Mid-tempo, kind of like, the band does a great job of filling up the room with this song. There's so much like sound going into this track. Kind of good energy, prog rock song. I want to say it's easy feel, like easy going, but it's not because it's just so full, dude. But like it's easy going in the sense that like it's just a fun listen.
Yeah.
Like an easy fun listen. Keyboard, it's not so much like the notes as it is just like floating through the song. It's always like present over the top of everything. They do a great job with the backup singers again, like building the vibe on this track. Love it.
Yeah, a very spiritual track. So Josh said he came up with the lyrics one night when he was watching an ice cube rise and fall in his drink at Hollywood Sunset's Marquise Hotel. He said the movements of the ice made him think of one of his favorite philosophers, Alan Watts, who described human existence as a kind of ebb and flow. That's what I saw in the ice cube. Again, going back to your question of, man, I really want to know what hallucinogenics these guys might be on. But
that is the highest thought I've heard so far today.
Just staring at the ice cube going back and forth.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like life, honestly, if you think about it, guys.
Right.
Look at this ice cube.
In some of the lyrics, you are the land, the sea and the sky, the explanation why, we're tied to all things as one, rhythm of space, expansion of soul, a force beyond control, travelers in time searching for the unknown.
You just cannot convince me they're not doing drugs. You will never convince me that. They don't talk about it, but you just never convince me.
I mean, no, absolutely not. I mean, and like, same with like Zeppelin, like, you know, those guys had to have been on some kind of grass or
Yeah, but I think
psychedelic.
that was a little bit more well known, I think.
Right.
These guys, when you read about them, they don't really talk about it. Every time they talk about like getting a little fucked up, it's always like, we're drinking wine, we're hanging out, going to dinner, you know.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty. They're an odd bunch as rockers go, but yeah, they never really talk about drug use. Always just alcohol, and maybe that's something to do with growing up in a small town. Probably a little bit more of a conservative family, not conservative politically, but more conservative.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, values wise. And not wanting people to have that opinion of them, but anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean some of the lyrics and music, like I'll say it this way: it's very impressive that you can achieve some of that without the use of.
Yeah, if they're not wild,
Yeah, imagine if they imagine if they
wild.
weren't, and then they did.
That's just, oh my god, you unintelligible would come out if they were like if they're doing this sober or like drunk, and yeah, the things that would happen. Like, they actually might just solve all the world's problems if they did a little bit of LSD.
If he takes some mushrooms, he might actually have the voice of God.
That's when the Yardbirds cover comes out.
But speaking of heavy things, the next track on this album is The Weight of Dreams.
Yeah, and this is the culmination of trippy, transcendental prog rock. 9 minutes to close out this track. And opens with a little nod to Zeppelin. You want to hit that lyric? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, is it All Across the West?
Yeah, that opening lyric.
Okay,
I'll pull it up, but go ahead.
All across the West, we traveled wayward to find the weight of dreams and gold. Heaven sent us here to meet the hallowed shore, to claim the wealth that we had sold.
That. A little nod to Stairway to Heaven.
I actually didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily obvious to me either, but I read something about it, and the more I thought about it, I realized right there in that last line, heaven sent us here to meet the hallowed shore, to claim the wealth that we had sold. You know, the first line in Stairway to Heaven is the woman who had sold her way or bought her way into heaven.
Right.
And then kind of the commentary on that throughout.
No, you're right, because that song, I mean, that's one of the, meanings of the song, depending on which way you interpret the lyrics. And this song has lyrics referencing like the California Gold Rush, just like materialism and in general. So that is cool. I didn't really pick up on that.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyways, 9 minute mid tempo, little bit lower energy, but again, it's got that trippy vibe. It's gonna be a little bit lower energy. The drums are poppy loud here. The guitar kind of like goes up and down in tempo, but it's clean throughout. You hear the keyboard kind of hovering around again through. Strings kind of come in later on to this song, which is a good addition. And then about 4 minutes in, they're done with their lyrics. Josh lets out a couple yells into this 5-minute instrumental section. He's got some really cool solos in this instrumental. It's a really, really cool way to close out this album, too.
When you name a song, the weight of, and then whatever the last part is, you cannot miss. Like when the Black Keys did The Weight of Love, like you see that song title, and I don't know where it is on the album. It's Turn Blue, but when you see that song title, you're like, oh, and it's 8 minutes or 9 minutes. You're like, oh, you're in for a wild ride.
It's funny you bring them up. I was reading about it because in that Billboard interview too, they asked them. They're like, you guys didn't really like listen to any of the music the kids around you were listening to. Like, are there any kind of modern bands you guys like? And Black Keys was one of like 3 or 4 bands that he brought up, which is a cool little ad. But
yeah, the Black Keys kick ass.
In that note, I don't know almost anything about the Black Keys. I know the hits, and that's about it. And maybe not even all of them.
Oh, really?
I probably know 5 Black Keys songs.
I probably got I don't know how many albums they have, but I probably have 5 or 6 albums worth of saved stuff. They got some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get to that when we get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wraps up the Battle at Garden's Gate. Like I said, I think this is a really cool album too. A little bit more of that hippy dippy stuff if you like it. Still some good blues in here, and just a great listen cover to cover.
Absolutely.